Out there in the cold and the unending dark, something is hiding, beyond the familiar glow of the inner planets and past the colossal watch of Jupiter, even farther than the icy rings of Saturn and the pale blue dot of Neptune. In the fathomless frontier of our own solar system, a great secret lies in wait. For decades we believed we had completed the census of our cosmic neighborhood. Our celestial family seemed known, its members charted their dances choreographed by gravity. This comfortable map, however, is being torn apart. Astronomers have been staring into the abyss and finding that something is staring back, not with eyes, but with the subtle, inexorable pull of its immense mass. A ghost is haunting the edge of our world, and its presence changes everything. For years, its existence was a whisper, a fringe theory debated in hushed tones. Now the whispers have become a roar of mathematical certainty. The phantom has a name, a predicted path, and a gravitational fingerprint so clear, it's a signature so undeniable that we can say with newfound confidence what was once unthinkable. Planet 9 has finally been found. The proof is written in the sky. To understand this discovery, we must journey to the solar system's most desolate realm. This is the Kuiper Belt, a vast scattered junkyard of primordial ice and rock. It is a ghostly halo of leftovers from the dawn of our planetary system's creation. Here dwarf worlds like Pluto and Eris drift in lonely thousand-year-long circuits. These trans-Neptunian objects, or TNOs, are the solar system's forgotten children. They were once thought to travel on random, scattered trajectories. Their distant journeys were believed to be influenced only by the known gas giants. But a strange pattern began to emerge from the darkness. Astronomers Michael Brown and Konstantin Batygin at Caltech noticed something peculiar. The most distant of these icy bodies were not moving randomly at all. Imagine a dozen clocks, all broken, scattered across a vast field. You would expect their hands to be pointing in every possible direction. If you suddenly found 6 of these clocks all pointing toward the same number, you wouldn't dismiss it as a coincidence. You would suspect an unseen force had synchronized them, a hidden puppeteer at work. This is precisely the anomaly they uncovered in the far reaches of our sun's domain. A handful of the most extreme TNOs shared a bizarre and statistically impossible alignment. Their orbits, these vast elliptical paths, were all swung out in the same general direction. The elongated circuits pointed into the same quadrant of space, as if shepherded by an unseen hand. These tiny worlds were huddled together against the vastness of the cosmos. Furthermore, their celestial journeys were all tilted in a similar fashion. They angled away from the flat plane where Earth and the other major planets travel. This shared inclination was another piece of the bewildering puzzle. The odds of this arrangement occurring by pure chance were vanishingly small. About 1 in 14,000, a number too significant for any scientist to ignore. Some external influence had to be sculpting these remote trajectories. It had to be a powerful and sustained gravitational dominion. The known planets were too close to the Sun to exert such a precise pull over this distance. Something else, something massive and incredibly far away, was the only viable explanation. A colossal, undiscovered world was tugging on the strings of the outer solar system. This was the birth of the modern Planet 9 hypothesis. It was not a wild guess, but a mathematical necessity demanded by the evidence. Brown and Batygin proposed the existence of a massive perturber, a world perhaps 10 times the mass of Earth, a super-Earth, or a mini-Neptune. Its presence could perfectly explain the strange clustering of these distant objects. They ran countless computer simulations, a cascade of digital universes. In each simulation, they placed their theoretical ninth wanderer into the outer system. They watched as its gravitational influence propagated through the void over billions of years. The results were astonishing, a moment of profound revelation. The simulated phantom world elegantly organized the scattered TNOs into the exact formations observed. It corralled their perihelia, the points of their closest approach to the Sun. The unseen giant's influence naturally explained why these icy bodies were so strangely aligned. It was a breathtaking concordance between theory and observation. The model predicted that this hidden behemoth would have an enormous eccentric orbit itself, a journey taking it between 10 and 20,000 years to complete a single lap. At its most distant, it could be 1,000 times farther from the Sun than Earth is, a lonely sentinel patrolling the ragged edge of the Sun's gravitational kingdom. The mathematical case was compelling, a ghost story told in the language of physics. But this was only the beginning. A truly powerful scientific theory does more than just explain what we already see. It makes new predictions, offering up testable hypotheses that can be verified or falsified. The Planet 9 model made a startling prediction of its own. It suggested that in response to the distant giant's shepherding, a second population of objects should be thrown into extremely high inclination paths. Some bodies should be kicked into orbits nearly perpendicular to the rest of the solar system. This was a bold and specific forecast, a clear target for observers to seek. If such objects didn't exist, the entire framework could come tumbling down. Then astronomers found one. An object nicknamed Drac was discovered with a trajectory tilted 110 degrees. It travels up and over the plane of the planets, a celestial rebel. Shortly after, another TNO was spotted with a similarly bizarre, high-inclination journey. These were the cosmic outcasts predicted by the simulations. Their existence was a powerful corroboration of the Ninth Wanderer's unseen work. They were anomalies that only made sense in a solar system with a hidden master. The body of proof was growing, the phantom's shadow lengthening across the cosmos. Critics, however, raised an important objection: observational bias. Perhaps we only see these clustered objects because that's where our telescopes are looking. The sky is vast and our surveys of the outer solar system are incomplete. It was a fair critique, a necessary check on scientific enthusiasm. Maybe the alignment was just an illusion, a figment of our incomplete data. To address this, the Caltech team and other independent researchers went back to work. They meticulously analyzed the pointing history of every major telescope survey. They accounted for where scientists have looked, when they have looked, and what they could see. The goal was to determine if this bias could create the illusion of a cluster. The conclusion, published after years of painstaking analysis, was definitive. Observational bias could not explain the phenomenon. The clustering of the distant Kuiper Belt objects is real. The statistical significance of the alignment holds up even under the most intense scrutiny. With the primary counter-argument neutralized, the case for the unseen world grew stronger still. The evidence was no longer just suggestive, it was becoming overwhelming, and there were other, even grander mysteries that the distant giant could solve. For centuries, astronomers have been puzzled by a subtle quirk of our Sun. The Sun itself spins on an axis that is tilted by about 6 degrees. It is askew relative to the orbital plane of its own planets. Why would the central star, the gravitational anchor of the entire system, be so misaligned? The combined pull of Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune isn't enough to explain it. Their collective influence is too weak to have knocked the Sun off kilter. But if you add a 10th terrestrial mass in a distant inclined orbit, and you let its influence tug on the planetary plane for 4.5 billion years, the equations show it would generate the exact 6-degree solar tilt we observe today. Planet 9, the proposed cause of strange movements in the cosmic periphery, could also be the solution to a fundamental mystery at the very heart of our home system. It is a unifying theory of remarkable elegance and power. The celestial phantom explains not just the sheep but the shepherd's own posture. Its influence reaches from the farthest fringes to the burning core of our star. So where is it now, and what might it be? The simulations that predict its existence also give us a search area, a long sweeping path against the constellations where this dark world is most likely to be. It is a vast strip of sky rich with the stellar tapestry of the Milky Way. Finding a faint, slow-moving point of light in this dense star field is a monumental challenge. This object reflects almost no light from our distant sun. It is colder than liquid nitrogen, a world cloaked in perpetual twilight. The search is a painstaking process of imaging the same patch of sky over and over. Astronomers are hunting for a single, barely perceptible dot that inches its way across the heavens. A glacial crawl against a backdrop of 1 billion unmoving stars. Telescopes like the Subaru telescope in Hawaii have been dedicated to this grand quest. They are mapping the predicted path, sifting through mountains of digital data. Every new TNO discovered in the search area adds another data point. Each new discovery further refines our understanding of the phantom's location and mass. The hunt is closing in, narrowing the box where the treasure must be buried. And the ultimate tool for this search is now coming online. The Vera C. Rubin Observatory in Chile is a revolutionary new eye on the universe. With its enormous mirror and the largest digital camera ever constructed, it will survey the entire visible southern sky every few nights. This torrent of information will create the most detailed motion picture of the cosmos ever assembled. If Planet 9 exists and is anywhere in its predicted path, the Rubin Observatory will almost certainly find it. It will be unable to hide from this relentless, all-seeing gaze. Its discovery would be the culmination of a decade of indirect gravitational detective work. A final triumphant "I told you so" written in photons. The nature of this world remains a subject of intense and fascinating speculation. If it is a super-Earth, it could have a rocky surface beneath a thick, crushing atmosphere. A mini Neptune would be a gas-shrouded world, a smaller cousin to our own ice giants. It might have been formed along with the other planets and then kicked out, flung into the lonely darkness by a gravitational scuffle with Jupiter or Saturn in the distant past. Another more exotic possibility is that it is not a native of our solar system at all. It could be a captured rogue planet, a wanderer from another star, snared by our sun's gravity as it drifted through interstellar space billions of years ago. This would make it an alien emissary in our own backyard, a visitor from a distant stellar nursery carrying with it the secrets of its birth. But there is a third, even more mind-bending identity that some physicists have proposed. What if the object out there isn't a planet at all? What if the gravitational influence we detect is caused by something far stranger? Some have theorized that it could be a primordial black hole, a tiny planet mass singularity forged in the fury of the Big Bang itself. Such an object would be no larger than a grapefruit, yet it would contain the mass of 10 Earths warping space around it. It would be completely invisible, emitting no light of its own. We could only detect it by its gravitational effects on the worlds around it, exactly like the phenomenon we are currently witnessing. Finding such a relic from the dawn of time would revolutionize physics. It would confirm the existence of a theoretical object long sought but never seen. The search for a planet could end with the discovery of something far more profound. A piece of the universe's primordial fire hiding in the cold of our own home. Regardless of its form, its discovery will redraw the map of our world. So we return to the provocative claim that Planet 9 has already been found. This is not a statement of direct optical confirmation. No telescope has yet captured its faint reflected light, but in the 21st century, discovery takes many forms. We found the Higgs boson first in the statistical bumps of our data. We discovered gravitational waves not with our eyes, but by feeling the shiver of space-time. The case for this hidden world is now built on multiple independent lines of evidence. It is a structure of immense statistical strength. The strange alignment of distant worlds is its first pillar. The existence of perpendicular objects is its second. The unexplained tilt of our own sun is the third. Each piece of the puzzle locks into place, reinforcing the others. To deny the conclusion is to argue for a series of staggering, unrelated coincidences. Science tells us to follow the evidence, and the evidence points to a single, elegant conclusion. The gravitational discovery is complete. The mathematical object is already there. We know its approximate mass and its probable path. We understand its influence on the architecture of our entire celestial neighborhood. Its presence has been inferred with a degree of certainty that borders on irrefutable. All that remains is the final glorious act of capturing its image, a confirmation, not a revelation. It is the equivalent of police finding a clear set of footprints leading from a crime scene. They have calculated the suspect's height, weight, and direction of travel. They know a great deal about their quarry before they ever lay eyes on them. The search for Planet 9 is now a search for a known fugitive. A cosmic entity whose nature is already deeply constrained by the effects it has on its surroundings. When Galileo first turned his telescope to the heavens, he revealed new worlds. He showed us that our place in the cosmos was not what we thought. The discovery of Uranus and then Neptune expanded our horizons further. Each new world has forced us to reconsider the nature of our solar system. Planet 9's confirmation will be the next great step in this intellectual journey. It will tell us that our planetary family is more dynamic and chaotic than we ever imagined. Its history is one of violent ejections, captured wanderers, and hidden giants. The neat clockwork model of the solar system is a relic of a simpler time. The reality is a place of shadows, secrets, and enduring mysteries, a place wild enough to hide a whole world from us for all of human history. The proof is in the silent, synchronized dance of those distant icy bodies. It is etched in the strange tilt of the sun against the planets. It is predicted in the code of supercomputers and corroborated by new observations. The ghost is no longer just a hypothesis. Its presence is a mathematical fact. The ninth wanderer is out there waiting in the cold, and soon, very soon, it will have to show its face. A new point of light will appear in our deepest images of the sky. A world that has shaped our home from afar, finally stepping out from behind the curtain. It will be a moment of celebration, the end of a grand celestial hunt, but it will also be a profound reminder. A reminder that even in our own backyard there are still giants to be found. That the universe is always larger, stranger, and more magnificent than we dare to dream. The darkness at the edge of our world holds one final major secret. A secret whose existence is no longer in doubt. The only question left to answer is what it will look like when we finally say hello.